From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, this week, Troy's theater department performed a classic play with a connection to the state of Alabama, To Kill a Mockingbird. Victoria Sabina gives us a look.
On Wednesday, Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance is going to present their new play, To Kill a Mockingbird. It covers the very important issues for the modern American society.
When I knew that it was available in play form, I thought this was maybe a good time to bring out this story about understanding other people, looking across racial lines, just taking a minute to see people as people instead of as something other that you don't understand.
A lot of main things that have to do with race, you see it all the time on television, see it all the time in the news, and this play, it's not just about race, but it's about truth and about justice. So there's a lot of things in this play that's caused by race that we address, that this play addresses.
We have that chance to take that next little step, to take that little step towards change and progression, and I think that's what Maudie really stands for in this play, is a progressive mind, and just a mind that's against the hate but knows there is hate in the world, and you just have to keep on loving people to get by it.
The actors of the play are current Troy University students. However, there is one alumnus among them, and he explained why he decided to join the play.
I graduated from here in 1992. I graduated with a theater and speech degree. I'm a pastor in Enterprise, Alabama, and it just worked out. It worked out, and it's a role that I thought if it ever came up, I'd like to do it, and do it in a quality production. And I knew it would be quality here because I knew Tori and I knew all people here who work here, and my son's a student here in this department, so I knew it would be quality.
The performers have rehearsed for several weeks, and now they are ready to show what they prepared. Victoria Sabina, Troy, TrojanVision News.
To Kill a Mockingbird will run through Sunday in the Trojan Center Theater. Showtimes for Saturday will be 7:30 and Sunday's matinee will begin at 2:30. Tickets are available in the Trojan Center box office. And Troy University's Hall Waters Prize recognizes individuals who make significant contributions to Southern culture. Last weekend, the prize was given to renowned author Pat Conroy. Felicia Payne has the details from our Trojan News Center in Montgomery.
The Alabama Book Festival is an annual event co-hosted by Troy University in Montgomery, and this year the festival was also the place that the Hall Waters Award was presented to the recipient author Pat Conroy.
To win the award is really a signature event, and to have an opportunity to present it to Pat Conroy as part of the Alabama Book Festival makes it even better.
Fulmer says that the award is not only important for the recipient, but also Troy University.
To honor Southern people of letters, so principally in literature and in history, and it's a great way to recognize people who've achieved, and a great way for Troy University to continue to be a part of that tradition of writing and of history and of all those things that define us culturally.
The recipient, who has written several acclaimed novels and memoirs, such as The Prince of Tides and The Great Santini, says that this award is important to him because of who it comes from.
I come from Troy State, and Troy is right down the road from where my wife grew up in Pinkard, Alabama. So I pass Troy every time I go to her house for Christmas. I've gotten to know Troy, follow their football team and basketball teams, simply because it's part of what I know in the world now.
And though Conroy has been writing for many years, he says his best piece of advice to young authors is to simply dig deeper below the surface.
It still is going to take an appreciation of beautiful writing, and what I tell every young writer to do is go deeper. Whatever you write, try to go deeper. Whatever interview you have, whatever experience you have, don't just do the surface.
Conroy's latest book is The Death of Santini, which is a memoir for his father. From Montgomery, Felicia Payne, Troy, TrojanVision News.
One might not necessarily associate rock and roll and partying with business and economics classes, but Troy Sorrell College of Business mixed all those elements as a way to get students more interested in the college. Shantia Wilson has the story.
When you think of the word geek, nothing cool comes to mind. However, Thursday night, the Sorrell College of Business gave a new meaning to the word geek as they held their first Geek Fest.
Geek Fest is really an awareness campaign for our students here on the Troy campus to become more aware of the Sorrell College of Business and our mission. GEEK actually stands for globally aware, engaged with real-world business, ethical decision makers, knowledgeable to compete and succeed in the business world. So we're hopeful that tonight students will come out, have fun, and learn more about the college.
The Sorrell College of Business held a concert on the Bibb Graves Quad featuring the Park Band. Dean Edwards of the College of Business said it was a fun way to get students engaged.
I wanted to have something that our students could really begin to build a culture around the product. In the end, we produce students, and so we want to make sure all of our students they're globally aware, they're engaged with the business community, they're ethical decision makers, and they have a knowledge to be successful. So that's our GEEK program, but again, it's just a way to have some fun with our overall strategic plan for the college.
The Geek Fest had a great turnout with faculty, students, and members of the community in attendance. One student shares her experience.
I'm actually having a lot of fun. I volunteered to help out, hand out t-shirts and stuff to business majors. So we're just trying to promote the business college in general and try to recruit people that aren't business majors, and I'm just having fun listening to Park Band.
Shantia Wilson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Living a healthy lifestyle can be hard for a college student. Well, this week students got some tips and tricks that could help them out. Jordan Elston has the details.
Troy University students had the opportunity to get a few helpful hints on how to live a healthier lifestyle at the Wellness Fair.
Yeah, the Health and Wellness Committee and Trojan Outreach are sponsoring a wellness fair in order to just get some information about wellness and overall health out to students and faculty and staff.
McCain also says that she is hopeful that students will gain a lot of useful information after attending the fair.
We're hoping that it's going to have a great effect on the students, just to inform them more about what resources are in the area that can contribute to their wellness, and also about just some basic health education.
Many tables were set up to present a variety of information. I spoke with a few students to find out what they learned.
The coolest thing that we found is the KHP department doing the BMI. I'd never had that done before, so that was something that we really enjoyed doing while we were here, was getting our BMI done.
I feel like it's very educational. Like, I've been around here walking around and it's really good. What they're telling us is great. We're learning about nutrition. And over here they have, you weigh yourself, see how much you weigh, see how much of your mass is muscle weight and fat weight. It's really a good experience, educational.
The students also said that they would love to see this event again, but on a larger scale.
It is, but with the term Wellness Center, I would like to see more people hear about healthy eating, telling you what you need to eat, more samples maybe. I would like to see it again, but I would like to see more.
Absolutely, maybe on a bigger scale too. Because I feel like I was required to come here for my class, but I feel like it would be cool if everybody could see where it was and actually know about it.
This is Jordan Elston reporting for Troy, TrojanVision News.
Talk has already started for the next presidential election, with a number of candidates already throwing their hat in the ring for next year's race. However, there are many Troy University students who are not ready to participate in the election, well, because they're not registered to vote. As Courtney Chandler shows us, some local volunteers are trying to remedy that.
Even though the election season is 7 months away, students had the opportunity to get registered to vote for the upcoming elections on Tuesday in the Trojan Center.
We're just doing a yearly voters drive on the campus today, trying to get the students interested in exercising their right to vote.
Students came from 10 to 2 in the Trojan Center to get registered to vote by filling out applications provided by the Pike County Board of Registers.
We have an application to fill out. It's very, very simple. We need your name, your address, Social Security or driver's license, some form of identification. It's just basic questions, and definitely need your signature. We'll take the application back to the office and put it in our computer, and it will assign a precinct based on where you live as to where you vote.
Till also said why she thinks this voters registration drive was important and why students should come out and get registered to vote.
The next generation is going to be facing a lot of challenges, and we feel like if they want to have a voice, they need to vote.
This is Courtney Chandler, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see the fun and entertaining way some Troy University fraternities and sororities honored a student lost to cancer. That and more when we come back, so stay tuned.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
It's a fairly common occurrence to see Troy's fraternities and sororities showing off their fancy footwork and step shows. However, once a year, organizations step in honor of a Troy University student who died from cancer. Grishma Ramal takes a look at this year's Step for Life.
Music maestros turn into dancers, and for a good cause. Saturday night, the musical fraternities and sororities at Troy University came together for the annual Step for Life event.
Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma are hosting a Step for Life in honor of a fallen brother, Stephen Dobar. And he fell of leukemia, so we're raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
The event first began in 2001 and honors Stephen Dobrzinski, a member of Kappa Kappa Psi who passed away due to leukemia. Dobrzinski's mother was at the event and spoke of her son's passion for his fraternity and the group's dedication towards the cause.
He was in the band, trombone player, and he loved his brothers. In fact, he was buried in his jersey. I have been made an honorary brother by Kappa Kappa Psi brothers, and also a sister by the Tau Beta Sigma sisters. And I just think it's fantastic that this group of young people keeps doing this every year.
This is the 14th year since Step for Life first began, and alumni say the event keeps getting better every year.
The very first year we had it on the band practice field right above the intramural field, and we had a little stage and we had a rider truck, and that's where we put all the DJ equipment, and the step teams came out, and then we were able to get Sartain through the university, and then it's now in Crosby.
Oliver said that the event provides an opportunity to unite all the musical organizations.
They all work together within the music department and with the band, and so I think it's a chance for them to kind of come together and have a good time.
And one participant said that's exactly what she gained out of the experience.
It was a very wonderful thing. I loved it. This is my first year stepping, and this is also my first full year being in TBS, so I really loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Alpha Phi Alpha won the overall step competition. Grishma Ramal, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And Troy University students got to show off their speaking skills in a friendly competition with their fellow Trojans in the annual forensics tournament. Victoria Sabinina has the story.
The captain of my soul. Thank you.
The Whole School of Journalism and Communication invited all Troy University students to participate in the 24th annual speech tournament. The professors and students explained how it benefited them.
For any student, the opportunity to speak in front of a group is really so helpful and so important for life skills that we would like to have everybody who's a student here participate.
Always really enjoyed public speaking. I'd like to have something to put on my resume, because in the future I would actually like to carry this out into maybe a part-time career or full-time.
It is a great opportunity for students, English and Spanish-wise, to just get in front of an audience and speak and just get some experience speaking to a crowd.
Participants of the tournament had a chance to show their rhetorical skills and also compete for the $500 scholarship.
The prizes, there's for the overall best speaker who is eligible to receive a scholarship, it's a $500 scholarship for tuition for next year. Third place gets a recognition and pin. Second place gets a nice trophy/frame and a pin, and first place gets a great trophy.
Some of the speakers decided to try themselves in special topics, Spanish prose and poetry, that made them closer to the Hispanic culture.
A couple years ago, we decided to have Spanish, and we started out with 3 or 4 people competing, and this year our largest 2 categories are Spanish prose and Spanish poetry.
With Spanish, sometimes the hardest part is speaking it and speaking it in front of other people. And so this helps, helps us to speak fluently, to speak in front of an audience, to work on our pronunciation.
The results of the tournament were announced later Friday afternoon. Victoria Sabinina, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Last week, Populous, the music group created by Troy University's own record label Ilium Records, embarked on their biggest tour to date. The band ended their tour in Universal Studios, Florida, but started it off on the Claudia Crosby stage. Jalen Reynolds gives us a look at the band's tour kickoff performance.
Troy University band Populous kicked off the first part of their tour in Claudia Crosby Theater on April 7th.
This is the first night of the Populous 2015 tour. Tomorrow we'll be leaving bright and early in the morning and going to Middle Georgia State Community College, and then we go to Clearwater, Florida. They're going to be performing at Countryside High School, and then Friday we'll be at Universal Studios performing on the Music Closet stage. So we're really excited. We've been working really hard and can't wait to see them perform at Universal. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The band performed a number of both original and covered songs, all of which are available on the EP Who You Are. Band member Wyatt also has an EP available for purchase.
The original songs on our EP Who You are very unique because they're all about, being who you are, just different genres, different everything. A couple of them are what I wrote, like Catching Falling Stars and Lethal Weapon. Catching Falling Stars is a song about following your dreams and just going after what you have been wanting. And then Lethal Weapon is just basically saying that, I'm cool, don't mess with me, I am a lethal weapon, so get locked and loaded. I thought the show went great. I mean, it was a good vibe, good audience, everybody gelled together. It was fantastic, and I couldn't have asked for a better show.
Populous will return to Troy with another performance on April 28th. Jalen Reynolds, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
If you'd like more information on the music of Populous or where you can see them live, you can check out the Ilium Records website at iliumrecords.com. Well, for some professors, lessons to the students are limited to what happens in the classroom, but that's not always the case. Cesar Jauregui introduces us to a professor whose activity outside the classroom has given him some big recognition.
Professor Joe McCall is one of the most involved faculty on campus, teaching an extremely diverse group of history classes. But his lessons are not just about history. They teach us about being human.
I'll go to the fraternities and sororities and sometimes to some of the psychology classes, the counseling classes, and share my story. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. I've been clean since 1983. So I've been sober and clean longer than most of my young'uns have been alive.
Mr. McCall is not only a beloved professor, but he is deeply involved with student organizations outside of the classroom, including the International Student Culture Organization and the NAACP.
For a lot of years, I was the advisor to NAACP. But then I started getting involved with ISCO, the International Student Culture Organization, as their advisor. And over the last 3-4 years, that's become my main activity.
Professor McCall tells us how being involved with the international community changed his life in a way he could have never imagined.
I was living over in the married student housing, and more and more they started sending some of the Chinese scholars to live in that same residential complex. And it took an interesting twist. Because I wound up meeting one scholar that moved in downstairs. I was living on the 3rd floor, she was living on the 2nd floor. and she became my wife.
Though he is involved in many organizations, Professor McCall tells us what he finds most important about his job.
And a passion I have is to work with students. It's amazing to have a job where you go to work and it doesn't matter whether they paid you or not, you'd still want to do it.
McCall has won many accolades, including the First Year Studies Advocate Award, the Greek Advocate Award, and even the prestigious Ingalls Award for Excellence in Teaching. Cesar Jauregui, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And it's not unusual for students who live off campus to pick up a pet to keep them company during their time in school, but it's usually a dog or a cat. Shuyan Lee introduces us to a student who decided to go in a slightly different direction, choosing some slithering friends.
For most of people, snakes is a kind of horrible animal, but Troy University student Gao Yu doesn't think so. In his eyes, snakes are his good friends.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Gao Yu lives with 6 snakes this semester. He feeds them twice a week. Under his care, these snakes are healthy and active. How long have you had these snakes?
About 8 years.
8 years? Whoa, that's so long. So why do you like snakes?
I think it is very beautiful and special. This snake very beautiful and cute. This snake, after 3 months, he will have baby. They won't attack any human. Sometimes they are protecting themselves and their children. They are very friendly, even though look scary. Snakes are my close friends. I love snakes.
Gao Yu also has a lizard, and his roommates own some dogs and cats. That's the reason why his house is called Deo Dry Zoo.
Actually, it's my first time to see a people who keeps a snake as a pet. In my circle, there is no people like Gao Yu, who has so many knowledge of animals.
Although it is still far away from graduation, Gao Yu has already begun to consider the life of his friends after he graduates.
I plan to give them to person who really likes snakes. Actually, I love them. I don't want to leave my snakes, but I have no choice.
Zhiyan Li, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Well, it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn about an upcoming performance by the Concert Chorale. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better? I did. It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Music fans will get an opportunity to hear from one of Troy's choral groups in a concert next week. I spoke with 2 of the members of Concert Chorale in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be learning about the upcoming Concert Chorale concert taking place here at Troy University. My guests today are Cody Irwin and Amy Griffin, singers and conductors of the Concert Chorale. Thank you both for joining me here today.
Thank you for having us.
And as I mentioned, we're talking about an upcoming concert. Give us a little bit of information about what we can expect out of this concert.
This concert is called Folk Songs and Madrigals. We're singing some folk songs, English or American folk songs, some Irish folk songs, and then Italian madrigals. We're also featuring the Irish ensemble, instrumental ensemble, and then the guitar ensemble as well. It's
Okay,
going to be a very entertaining
a
concert.
little bit of help with some other music groups here on
Yes.
campus as well. Now, we'll get more in detail about some of the songs in a little bit, but let's talk about the group itself. Give us a little bit of information about what the concert chorale is and what makes up the concert chorale.
There are about 35 members. It's an auditioned group, so it's sort of the premier ensemble, choir ensemble.
And so now with this, the pieces that you're singing, folk songs, madrigals, what can folks expect out of some of these songs? Are there going to be any songs out there? We hear folk songs. A lot of times you think of things like, the classic American folk tunes.
Yeah.
But is that what we're going to be hearing out of this? Or are we going to hear some things that we haven't really heard before?
Well, I think there's a few melodies that you may recognize, like in The Nightingale. You'll probably recognize that melody. Maybe you don't recognize the title, but the melody. And then Carrickfergus, which is from Ireland, you'll probably recognize that melody as well. And then I'm conducting Danny Boy, and certainly probably everyone will recognize that.
I think pretty much everyone out there has at least heard some sort of interpretation of Danny Boy out there. So, but when it comes to songs that maybe people aren't familiar with, the other ones, is it tough to perform and rehearse songs and play songs that maybe people aren't familiar with hearing?
I wouldn't say so.
No, it's kind of
Takes
a little
the
bit more
pressure off.
liberating. Yeah, it takes pressure off because they won't recognize it. So you kind of get to put your own interpretation on it.
So if you mess up a little bit, they don't really know this song.
No one knows.
So it's not going to be that big of a deal. So. But now both of you are conductors as well. So it's got to be an interesting dynamic to be on both sides of both a singer and a conductor. Talk a little bit about why one you want to became a conductor rather than just being a performer.
I think that it's a really great experience for both of us. We both have to complete an internship for our music education majors, and so it gives you really real life experience up in front of people at the podium and learning how to put a song together, teach it from the first note to performance.
Yeah, I would second that. Just to have the experience and to be able to put yourself kind of on the hot seat in front of your peers is a challenge, but it's fun to learn.
And as a conductor, and you mentioned that there, you've got to learn the piece and teach the piece, right? So this is pretty much, you've fallen to the role of the instructor. You're teaching your fellow students. Is that a challenge, having to teach your fellow students? Because you know how frustrating dealing with students can be now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think for me it was definitely a challenge because maybe in the real world I'm sort of a joker, but when I have to get in front of my peers, they have to take me seriously, and I have to sort of take command of the class, and they've done a great job, and I'm excited to share the piece on the concert.
Well, good. Now, let's talk a little about the music in there. We briefly on there, but when folks come to see this concert, what can they expect out of this concert? What kind of music? What can they hope to take away from this?
There seems to be a common theme throughout of being separated from loved ones or losing loved ones to the war, whether that's the Revolutionary War, Civil War, or wars in Ireland. We'll have a little bit of American folk songs, Irish folk songs, Italian madrigals, which are also songs of the people. So it should be pretty well-rounded.
Well, if anyone out there is interested in seeing the performance, when and where can they do so?
It will be next Tuesday, April 21st at 7 p.m. in the choir room in Long Hall, the new building.
All right, and how much are tickets?
It's free.
Free
admission.
Free admission, so I can't complain about the cost there of the show. So chance to hear some music performed by some Troy University students, both conducting and performing, and a free show. So good luck with the performance. Here's hoping folks show up to listen to you guys perform. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the third week of April 2015. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune in to Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy TrojanVision News. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy TrojanVision Weekly. Have a good week.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit